that man, how can I say it, is the aggressor. And it could take something where they were here friendly and totally turn it around.
Yeah. Because it's so easy to stimulate the fear factor. That's all it is. Somebody in the, not doesn't have to be in a high place. It could be an adjutant. It could be someone near a powerful person. And they just whisper to them and say, shouldn't we send out the military for that general? You know, and the general goes, I guess I should. You know, I guess people expect me to protect them. You know, that whole game. You know, that's what goes on. It may not be the general's interest at all to confront an alien spacecraft, but there'll be somebody around him who doesn't want that alien spacecraft to come down and spill the beans. You know what I mean?
Well, I can say this, and I brought this up recently, okay? Because of my father's best friend at one point, was a good friend of Ronald Reagan. And I don't know if you heard me talk about this before, but back when I was a teenager, Ronald Reagan had a show once a month where he would allow young people to call and they could ask like a question to the president. And Reagan was very open about that. Well, my dad's friend was James Gardner, the actor. And instead of me calling up, I had the White House call me up while he was on the air. And he said, they said the president wants to talk to you. So I did my little thing on the air. And then about a week later or so, I get a phone call from the White House. It's Ronald Reagan. Because of my dad's friend, you know, he wanted to talk to me a little bit. I talked to him a little bit. Then I talked to him again one other time. And one thing I mentioned Star Wars to him because it was in the newspaper a lot. And I was concerned, you know, at that time, maybe Russia or the Soviet Union is going to attack the United States. And I mentioned it. And he said, quote unquote, that Star Wars is to protect Earth from them. Now, he wasn't talking about the Soviet Union or Czechoslovakia or whoever, okay? He said them. Yeah. You know, and being young, it didn't sink in my head to a few years later. And then one day it just like came to me, he was talking about them. So, you know, I got a funny feeling, you know, there is things going on that we don't know about. And that's what scares me.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's okay to be circumspect, you know, to be aware of one's surroundings and the possibility of attack from outside the known world. You don't have to be particularly fanatical or that doesn't have to reach mania proportions, but go into a cave sometime. Go spelunking, you know, which is, you know, going into those caves where you can barely fit through the crevices. You better be circumspect of what you're going into. You better be looking around for, you know, possibly landslides inside the cave or falling down a dark crevasse and winding up dying. You just have to be aware of your environment, and being aware of your environment means that we could possibly be invaded. Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean,
measures.
Yeah, and one thing I will say that there was a famous person who's before he died kept telling us that we shouldn't be sending our information out in space where our planet is located. Yeah, and you know who I'm talking about, true. Hawkins. He said it was. Yeah. He said that we are inviting ourselves for invasion and setting ourselves up. Right. And I think that's the dumbest thing it is to sit there and broadcast where you're at. You know, it's like telling people, hey, I just got paid. My address is 650 Southeast whatever street. You know, we're sitting there and giving that information out on a daily, minute by minute basis right now. And that scares me because we don't know who's going to be on the other end.
That's right. There's even a great science fiction novel for the year 3000, which predicts such a thing happening earlier than 3000, but the action takes place after there's been a huge confrontation between our forces and alien forces, and we lose very, very drastically. So much so there's very few of us left on the planet, but and the aliens win. And it's just that thing. They found us by the fact that we sent out probes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm throwing that in, too. I mean, because we were talking about how going back to the pyramids, going to the Egyptians, going all the way to the medieval, going to our current days. I think we should have been smart enough now to realize we don't need to broadcast what we need, what we feel that we need to do. Yeah, we want contact, but we already got proof out there. The government, come on, they have plenty of proof that we're being visited. They have plenty of proof and know that people have gone missing and never returned. They got proof that people have been implanted. What more do they need? Somebody to land on the White House, out in the grass?
Right. One of those feed spot pictures shows Area 51. This was found with Google Maps from satellite pictures. And I tried to find it according to the directions from this article, but it takes a bit. You have to follow it very exactly. But about 4 or 5 miles south of Area 51, there's a place called S4, and this is notoriously known as the location where reverse engineering of alien technology is being done exclusively. And there's a picture from above the houses, the buildings, of half of a flying saucer, and it's about 90 to 100 feet straight across.
No, I wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah. So they have them there, and they've had bodies exhumed from wreckage since 1947, and who knows how many times they've tried to resuscitate one or two of those bodies, or experiment on them and so forth to find out, what they're made of.
Yeah, that's our civilization, and I hate to say it, I wouldn't doubt one or two or three or a dozen of those bodies might have been totally alive when they decided to experiment on them.
Yeah. Another reason why, their planet isn't interested in particularly, mingling with ours just yet. We have to get a little bit more civilized and become a little more circumspect of who we are and what we're capable of, and what our responsibilities to other living organisms are before they're going to powwow with us.
Well, the way we're going with global warming, maybe going into a mini ice age, maybe Florida being underwater here in the next 10 years. I don't know how much time we have left. This is the way we're destroying ourselves. What's funny, too, is I was just listening to a radio show. It was done in the 90s, and they had an expert on talking about oil, in Saudi Arabia, oil in the United States and everywhere else. He said the governments would lie to us. I mean, the oil could run out, drastically at any time. They have no way to know when it's going to run out. And what's going to happen to our civilization when that happens at this point?
Yeah. Yep. What's going to happen? Well,
you want to buy my car? Just think about that.
I've got myself a mountain bike.
Yeah.
I have a mountain bike in case.
Well, my leg is bad, but that's why I ride a motorcycle. But it gets as bad gas mileage as a car does. But you think about that. When you go put each gallon of gas in your car and you go driving to the store and back, that gas will never be replaced again. It's gone. That oil that created that is gone. So we're using up our resources. It takes
millions of years to replace it, and we don't have that. Yeah.
No, not at the rate we're going at.
So my question is, why don't we start to make vehicles that run on alcohol, just in case that happens? That's a thought.
Well, we could do that, but why don't we just work on our resources of batteries? Already the guy who in his 90s that developed the lithium battery has come out with another type of battery that it's basically glass and something. I was reading about it here today that even has more holding a charge capability. So, but you know what? That's not going to happen long as the big corporations can make money on gas and oil. Let's face it.
Yeah. They'll go right to the bitter end until there's not a drop of crude oil.
And then they're going to wonder why it starts snowing in your area in June and July. And they're going to go, why? It's not normal to snow in June and July. Hey, it's because we have we destroyed our whole planet ecosystem. That's why.
Yeah. It's a possibility. Yeah. You can just mess up your bed so many times and you don't have a bed anymore.
No, and sleeping on rocks isn't comfortable either.
No, not at all. Well, I guess we've covered quite a swath of time here, and I have many more things to talk about, but I didn't actually bring enough notes, so I think maybe we're come down to the end here.
Oh, yeah, we got a couple minutes. It's all I want to say, Charles, is I do feel that we are being visited. I do feel that people are being implanted. People are being taken off Earth. I do feel that we have aliens walking among us. And no, I don't think it's as bad as that movie, The Body Snatchers. But you know what? It is scary what's out there. And what's more scary is that our government will not be truthful to us. I mean, people say because, that TV show, Project Blue Book, came on. Oh, now it's going to be disclosure. Well, you know what? I hate to say it. The Project Blue Book came back on TV for one reason. Right now, there's a big surge again, and it happens every so many years. For a while, it's Bigfoot, right? Or it's little people, or it's something else. And then it's UFOs, and then it's more Bigfoot, and then it's something else. Right now, it's back onto UFOs. It started about a year or so ago. It got really popular again on my show and all the shows on the internet. So, somebody honestly probably figured, hey, it's a good time to bring back Project Blue Book. We can make money on it, and we can bring, some of the stories on. Of course, they're kind of dramatized. But, with that happening, I hate to say it, there's a certain class of people out there that think, now the government's going to disclose it and come out and tell us the truth. That I just don't. I'm telling you, people, if you think that's going to happen, you got a real problem, because it isn't going to happen. Okay? Yeah. When that happened in Roswell, okay, when a UFO crashed and took out all those trees for hundreds and hundreds of feet, actually thousands of feet, and came arrest against those rocks, okay? That's no way a weather balloon could do that, okay? Or any other type of balloon could do anything like that. It's impossible. Yeah. And they admitted right there was a crashed UFO, and then it changed really fast because somebody got their ass in the ring over it for even saying it, and it was cover up ever since then, and it hasn't changed, and it's not going to change. Yeah,
well, I get that your main gripe is the two-facedness of government officials. I have the same feeling too, but maybe not as passionately as you do. I have a more altruistic look at the fact that those people eventually are going to be replaced by people who can confront the truth and who aren't afraid to say what it is. And that's coming probably in the next 10 years.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be in the next 5 or 6 years, I can tell you that, because our political system is really screwed up right now. And people don't have their priorities in order. I will say this, we only got 3 minutes left. Build a wall. Hey, good thing, build a wall. But why spend that much money to build a wall when we need to fix our grid system? Okay, come on, people, get our heads together. It's like, hey, here's you just won $3,500 at the casino. You need a new car, need to get your car fixed. No, you go back to the casino and you blow it all. Come on, it's time that we need to really start facing reality and really think where our society is going. And what, you got somebody that says that all the news media is fake news, and then you have people saying that the government's all fake news. Who do you believe?
Yeah.
You believe people that have put on shows like this are not scared to at least talk about topics anyway?
Yeah. Well, I hope our listeners do talk amongst themselves and other people that are of like minds that feel free to investigate all these topics, all these what used to be called paranormal is becoming less paranormal, Gary, as you know. It's beginning to be more mainstream to talk about past lives and aliens and ghosts and things like that. And you'll see it in books and you'll see it in movies and, dramatized, of course, and maybe altered a little bit from the way it is. But more and more people are willing to take a look at this stuff. And I'm glad, because we wouldn't even have a show to put on if we didn't. have those kind of people.
Oh, you're right. Now,